Well, welcome to the special call meeting, June the 12th of the Owensboro Board of Commissioners. This time, we would ask the City Clerk, Beth Cecil, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jay Bellotto.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Condon.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smithwright.
Here.
Thank you, Beth. At this time, we'd ask Commissioner Jay Bellotto to give our invocation and our pledge to the flag.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone, please stand. Join me in prayer or silent meditation if that's your choosing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this and each day you provide. We come to you in prayer to thank you for the opportunity to gather and discuss city business. We ask you humbly to keep our city safe, along with all our citizens, first responders, police, and fire. Please watch over and protect those in service of our country, both near and far. May we all have the strength and courage to conduct ourselves as only you see fit. To remember the golden rule, to treat our fellow man as we would like to be treated, with respect and dignity. Kindness in all that we do. Lead us, guide us, and direct us. We ask all this in your Son, Jesus' name. We pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to everyone, staff, concerned citizens. At this time, we'll move to 4A to consider the approval of the minutes dated June 5, 2018, June 7, 2018. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion about the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, second reading of ordinance. Beth Cecil will do the ordinances. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ordinance 8-2018, an ordinance amending the Owensboro zoning ordinance adopted March 14, 1980, so as to include within the P1 professional service zone property located at 207 Phillips Court. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 12th day of June, 2018.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Bill, City Manager, you have anything to share with us about this?
Nothing to add, Mayor. This is the same zoning ordinance to either be voted up or down, which is a change from R4DT to P1 on Phillips Court. You considered it last time. There may be further discussion.
Okay. Any discussion from the commission? Hearing none? Okay. We'll have the roll call vote, please. You want? Okay. I'm sorry. I forgot you had some. We'll allow you to speak a little bit from the public. Please state your name and address for the record, and welcome to the commission.
Thank you. My name is Mary McCulley. I'm at 206 Phillips Court. And first, I'd like to request, I left a set of documents that I read from last week. I left a set for everybody. I'd like to make sure those get entered into the record, as well as the petitions that include all of the people that have asked me to be their voice that cannot be here tonight, including Ron Shepard, who is a neighbor that's directly on the side of the property in discussion, and he has every single Tuesday he picks up his grandson at 5 o'clock. He cannot be here. He would like to be here, and he's lived at that property since 1965. But I do have his signature, and I think that I can speak with one voice. Carol and Colby McQuarrie is here. The Schultzes, Lou and Stella, that are in the house next to Mary Kendall as well, and I think you heard from Dawn last week. So to say that we're unanimous would be an understatement. I also would like to address you guys to consider voting no to this for all the reasons that I spoke to, that I think it is in violation of the master plan. It does not meet A, B, and D, and that's what it says. We argued about that. I was pretty clear about that. And that I think that as well, we did not get a chance, the other property owners really didn't get a chance to be heard. Their voices were silenced and not allowed to be heard. Colby was told he couldn't talk tonight, and I think that, that you honestly think that you should give due consideration to all of the aggrieved people that are going to be affected by this zoning. And we haven't done that. They had one zoning meeting and it went by really fast. And I believe that we need to further talk about that. And in all honesty, I think a fair vote tonight would be to kick it back to zoning and planning, to listen to us, to give us a chance, the property owners that are aggrieved, the chance to present our findings and our opinions and the legal arguments that we didn't get a chance to because people, again, missed one meeting and, you know, now they're fighting, we're fighting, and you haven't had an appeal in 13 years. So I think that that's our purpose, is to keep this out of the court system so as not to further burden the court system until such a time as we're afforded, you know, due consideration in the court system or in the process of the zoning. And then when the zoning commission votes yay or nay with the information that we were able to provide, would be, I think that would be a fair way to look at it. That we would rescind the appeal if so sent back to zoning to listen and restart this, looking at this process.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have that document with you? Pardon me? 'Cause I don't think I have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I left
And
7 copies of that one last week, yes.
Okay, and then we need your petition if you want, if you have it with you.
Yes, I do. Oh, where is it? They would ask for that. Where did that? Yes, I do have it. Hold on. I have to find it in all this paperwork, so.
Yeah, government
Sorry
moves
about
slow,
that.
take your time. I mean,
Okay, you guys just have a little talk up there. Oh, gosh. I'll have to go through here and find it. Can you give me
Okay.
a second? Okay.
We have a few commissioners like to make a statement, so you can look for it while we're doing
Okay.
that, okay? Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to know, why is Kobe not allowed to speak? Did you say that he was told he couldn't speak?
Colby was told by the, I think, assistant city attorney that he was not allowed to speak because his name wasn't on the appeal. Although I thought I was appealing for the entire, you know, group of us. You know, I didn't have everybody sign it or something, so he told he couldn't talk, which doesn't make sense, of course, but that is what, you know, as last week they shut down, you know, Don Adams, even though he had testified before, so.
Thank you. Colby, would you like to speak?
Yes. Colby McQuarrie. I live at 202 Phillips Court. A very quiet and beautiful street, many older homes, established residential area, not in transition, not in the sense that there are buildings that are falling into one another. And all along this process, as we noticed the building in question available, we followed that process and tried as a group and also individuals to be able to purchase that property. That never took place, unfortunately, partly due to the fact that there was some confusion at the courthouse tax sale. The bank immediately bought the property back, and then somehow someone was able to regain the rights to the property, and there was a transfer of monies, which is very curious to me that the transfer took place and there wasn't any money made. So I don't know if the person who purchased it from the bank was an agent for the Bryant Engineering, or if that was just one of those issues that was a handshake and a agreement to purchase that property. Okay, that's an assumption. So that may not necessarily be fair on my part. The notice was in the yard. We noticed that the P1, the process of ownership had changed. The notice was in the yard, and immediately we tried to find out who had purchased the property and who was the name on the P1 zoning. So we did some research. In speaking with Bryant Engineering at the time, we said, so what are your plans for the property? Obviously, we're concerned about what's going on there. And they said, oh, this is just going to be a satellite office for our current business. Now, they didn't fully disclose that it wasn't going to be a satellite, but it was actually going to be a rental as far as we were concerned, made us question what could the potential of that property be and what could happen to it. Obviously, the property owner, which would be Bryan Engineering, has full range of what they want to do with the property. We're not disputing that. We're also not disputing the process that it went through. We don't believe and don't agree with the zoning decision because there aren't any other P1 on that street. There are P1 around it, but there's no one with a P1. There's only one conditional use permit, and that's with Mary Kindle Home. And if you look at the neighboring streets around and off of Frederica, rarely do you ever see the second property as a P1. Rarely. And you can follow that street up and down from downtown Owensboro City all the way out Frederica, and you can see that there are for rent signs elsewhere all along Frederica Street frontage. So to say that there's a need for P1 on Phillips Court is really questionable. And I think that it should probably be reviewed as a new entity, in other words, a new business, and comply with that new business zoning change rather than just a obvious taking property because it happens to be right next to me. And with that said, we're asking the commission to allow that process to renew at the zoning level so that they can relook at this, and that we as a group will be able to present our facts and our information to them so that maybe this might give them an opportunity to revisit this change. And also it would be, that's what we're asking for more than anything else.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Commissioner Glenn, did you have a comment?
No, I was just going to ask the procedural
Okay.
question that Commissioner Smith asked.
Mr. Howard's here from P&Z. Would you explain to us as a commission, mainly me, maybe everybody else might know, let's just say hypothetically that we say we don't vote, we all vote in the negative. What happens after that? What other consequences of that?
So if you all vote to overturn the planning commission
Correct.
recommendation and deny the rezoning, it's denied. The applicant, I'm sure, would have the opportunity to appeal that to, I'm no attorney, but I think that would go to circuit court.
Correct.
There's always an appeal process, but I mean, that's what it would mean.
Okay, so the relief, if we vote no, they'd still have relief at circuit court.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you have something, Commissioner?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. How you doing? All right, I'll give you a minute or two. You'll keep it short? Write that down for the record, will you? Better. He's going to keep it short.
Gary Postlewaite. I live at
Hi, Gary.
201 West 17th Street. I live right behind Mary. One of the things that the comprehensive plan covers is creep into an existing neighborhood. And this is exactly what's happening. Totally against what the comprehensive plan talks about. And it's an established neighborhood. I've been there 21 years. I can throw a rock and hit the other property. And we'd like to keep our neighborhood a neighborhood. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, any other discussion from the commission? Okay, so at this time, we will have a roll call vote. City Clerk?
Before we start, can I ask a procedural bill? So if we're voting yes, we're affirming the decision of the board. If we vote no, we're disaffirming the decision of the property board. Is that correct? I just want to know what my vote, I want to make sure we're clear.
Commissioner Parrish, go right ahead.
City Manager Parrish speaking. That's correct. You would be voting, if you vote yes, you'd be voting to amend the ordinance, which would be to allow Bryan Engineering. If you vote no, you would reject what the Planning Commission decided in their vote.
Okay. Just wanted that clear.
That's a good question. Some of these times these things are a little bit screwy.
That's a little different than our normal votes. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Bill.
So no, we want to go back to the planning and zoning. Yes, we want to keep it the way it is.
Well, I think, Mayor, no would be that it's overturned and it's done, and then they would seek relief through circuit court if they desired. I'm looking at Brian. Am I correct, Brian? If they desired to seek relief.
Again, not an attorney, but that's my understanding,
Yeah,
yes.
it's what our attorney has told us.
Again?
So if you vote no, it rejects what the Planning Commission decided. This is rejected, and then Bryan Engineering, if they wanted to proceed in their same manner, they would have to go to circuit court and appeal the decision of this commission. Just as if you vote yes, the folks that live on Phillips Court would have to go to circuit court and appeal the decision.
All right, everybody got that?
So if you vote yes on the amendment, you're approving the zoning change. If you vote yes, you're approving the zoning change.
Yes, you're approving the zoning
If you
change.
vote no, you're rejecting the zoning change.
Okay, one more procedural question. So the only option,
Go ahead, Commissioner
Brian may
Glenn.
need to get into this, the only option to resolve this, were it to be, well, whatever the decision is, there's no mediation element that could be entered into by either party or both parties? Could they do that unilateral of you know, like coming in and saying, we'll make these adjustments? Can they do that? Is mediation an option as opposed to going to court, or is their only option going to court?
Again, not an attorney, but not that I'm aware of. I believe it would go to circuit court.
Okay, so we don't have any other
Can I-
options.
And Mayor, if I could,
Sure.
I think mediation in this case, it's either yes or no. It's left or right. It's not part left.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Roll call.
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
No.
Commissioner Smithwright,
No,
Commissioner Villada.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, item 5B.
Ordinance 9-2018, an ordinance adopting and approving the annual budget of the City of Owensboro, Kentucky for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018 and ending June 30, 2019, and appropriating the revenues to the various departments of the city as set forth herein. Publicly read for approval on second reading this 12th day of June, 2018.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager?
Mayor, nothing new to add. It's a
Okay.
$120 million budget, $106 million out the door.
Any discussion from the commission? Hearing none. Ms. Cecil, roll call.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smithwright,
yes.
Commissioner Villada,
Yes.
Commissioner Condor.
Mayor Watson, may I explain my vote, please?
You don't have to.
I said, may I?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. First and foremost, it's a really good budget. Finance Department, Angela, your group, they did an awesome job. The budget looks really, really good. I know that I have attempted to be able to basically color money of what I believe our community needs to look at. I've said it before in our first reading. I've said it in emails of addressing whether that might be pension costs or taking more of our dilapidated homes down, concentrating even on maybe our police officers. And I know that going forward, we can do budget amendments, which is what we should do and what I hope we will do. So in so doing it, and I don't want to make this a grandstand vote either. That's a hell no, no, you just said no. But in that regard then, I will vote yes, but make sure everyone understands we do need to adjust how we do and what our priorities are, of our community look like for this coming budget and especially for the next 3 years. Thank you, Mayor.
And your vote was?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everybody voted? Okay, motion carries. Item 6, first reading, no vote. 6A, Ms. Cecil?
Ordinance 10-2018, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 and ending June 30, 2018, and amending the ordinance 9-2017 to fund the budget contingency and subsidize the recreational fund, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 12th day of June, 2018.
Okay, City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. There are two parts to this budget amendment. The first is 18-24, and it has two sections. The first is funding the general fund contingency. Every year, we overwrite the expenditures of the budget by $500,000. The reason we do that is to keep the staff honest. We know that there will always be personnel that are not hired in a timely manner, so we're recouping, saving those funds. Because all funds will not be spent throughout the year, personnel retirements, resignations, et cetera, we expect to have $500,000 left over at the end of the year. We have to recoup that, and that's what this budget does. This budget amendment does. It's primarily from our inability to hire and retain staff. That $500,000 is made up with recouping general government salaries in the retirement contingency of $175,000. We absorb that in salaries. General government pension spiking, a savings of $20,000. Steve Lynn won several cases with the state, and we recoup that money. General government TIF administration costs were lower by $40,000, and accordingly, we've lowered what we have budgeted next year. General government street lighting, LED bulbs are making electricity cheaper, and even though that expenditure is at no cost to the city, we have to write it as an expenditure. We're recouping that. Finance, salaries, and health insurance, OPD salaries and health insurance, those are all lower because we weren't able to fill all those billets. The second part of this budget amount, we just recouped $500,000. The second part is a request to transfer from the general fund to the rec fund $127,433. As you know, the rec fund, what people pay to participate in recreation activities, doesn't cover the cost. There's a subsidy from the general fund. Because of weather this year primarily, that was exceedingly wet, we need to transfer those funds to make the rec fund healthy and get it through the year. Now, there were three areas that overperformed that did well. Combest and Cravens Pool and Fisher Park ball fields. They did very well. But Ben Hawes and Hillcrest Golf Course, the Edge Ice Center, and the tennis facility were all under. The net amount that we need to transfer is $127,433 from the general fund to the rec fund to make that fund healthy. The other part of the budget amendment is 18-25, which is merely receiving those funds in the rec fund, the transfer from general fund to the rec fund.
Okay, I have a question. So, when you say transfer, can we transfer in our budget anytime we want to, or do we have to come out front and do an amendment?
Have to come to the floor, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion from the commission? Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
Good job. Item 6B, Ms. Cecil.
Ordinance 11-2018, an ordinance authorizing and directing the rebate of 1% of all occupational license fees due and payable to the City of Owensboro, Kentucky by ordinance from the salaries, wages, and other compensation to be paid to new employees hired by UniFirst Corporation, provided said company meets the criteria set forth in its application for incentives under the Kentucky Business Investment Program. Introduced and publicly read on first reading this 12th day of June, 2018.
Thank you. City Manager.
Yes, Mayor. This is a Kentucky business incentive in cooperation with the Kentucky Economic Development and Finance Authority, where our good corporate partners, UniFirst, is doing an expansion. They're investing $4 million to expand their facility by 40,000 square feet and adding an additional $8 million in equipment, resulting in a minimum hiring of 25 new jobs. In consideration of that, the city will rebate up to 1% of the occupational license fee for those new jobs for a period of 10 years. The annual maximum payment is $12,500 a year. We partner with the state. They will add an additional 3% to that rebate the staff recommends. Becky is here from Economic Development if you care to hear from her.
Becky, you got anything to add to that? Why'd you shake your head no when I got up? That's the way I feel.
We're very happy that they are here to make their expansion. They've been in the air park for over, well, right at 20 years, so they were the first company to locate in that southern air park. So we're very happy to see them expand.
Thank you. City Manager, would you explain why it's 1%?
It's just the occupation, it's restricted by state law, but that's our portion to give. It does not include your community vision funds. We'll continue to get those funds.
Okay, that's where I was.
The other thing I would point out, Mayor, this is all new money. This is not money we're giving away. It's new money that's coming in, we're taking the 1% from.
Okie dokie. Any other discussion from the commission? Hearing none. Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go to item 7, municipal orders. Oh, none. City manager items.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
City manager comments.
None, Mayor, thank you.
Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just wanted, I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I just wanted to say what a great thing I thought the city coming together to honor Nikki Hayden. I wasn't able to be present there, but I saw it on the YouTube, and it was awesome.
Thank you. Mr. Glenn?
Yes, just a few things real quickly. The first is, want to again thank our Parks and Rec Department and all of our first responders. Hosted the KHSA softball tournament. I think it went very, very well, as it always has, and we've been a great host of that event. I am hearing some discussion that they're going to turn it into a single elimination contest, and so this probably was our last year to host it, because they won't need as long a stint. And there's some positives to that, I'm told, for another group that meets here. But I do want to congratulate Amanda, Tim, all the people that put in all the hours and hard work to host that tournament. I know it's very stressful and a lot of work, and you're to be commended for doing a great job. Amanda, how many years have we hosted?
15 of the last
15. Yeah, 15. And there was some stiff competition from other cities, and we held them off. So thank you again to you and everybody who works with you. The second is just a quick one, and that is hot cars. Last year, 119 children died in the back seat of cars left by caregivers and parents. We are coming into the hot summer zone. We've already had some 90-degree plus weather, high humidity. Take an extra second and double check you've got your child or your grandchild out of that car. It's so easy to forget, particularly if you're under heat duress yourself. Then finally, the Bourbon Trail had a wonderful celebration. I know we all were there, and the mayor did a great presentation, and that's a tremendous asset, having O.C. Tyler be at the beginning or the end of the Bourbon Trail. So that was exciting, too. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Commissioner Vellada.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
First of all, I'm glad to be here. I'd like to welcome the Kentucky Realtors in town. They're here for their convention this week. That's my group, the state level group. They're all here. So if you see any strangers wandering around that look like real estate people, that's what they are.
Will they be just happy to be here too?
They're going to be happy to be here, Mayor. I know they are, because I've talked to all of them. They're tickled to be in Owensboro. They love this city. Thanks to the Hayden family. Job well done. Thank you for sharing Nikki's legacy with us here in Owensboro, and Mayor, everything you guys, youth staff, and everybody did to make that possible. That's a huge part of our community, and I'm glad to see that take some forefront. Also, thanks to the staff and everybody that's worked so hard on this budget and getting us through this scenario. I know it's been a lot of hours, a lot of hard work, a lot of time. And also, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Commissioner Condor.
Just one thing. Since, I guess, our last commission meeting of comments, I want to say welcome aboard, Nate Pagan. He's a guy that I think, if he had to put up with Davis County Fiscal Court for the years he was over there, I hope he has a good track record to do it here. And I think he does, especially some of the, Judge Madeline's probably texting me right now, so I'll let it go. That's it, Mayor.
Okay. I too, talking about the budget, I do have a few items that we'll try and talk about, in budget amendments. We're currently in the process of creating an arts corp that will look at the funding. It's going to be a joint effort between the city and the county. So we'll get together and try and look at some performance-based models for our contributions to the arts. I will tell you, it was a pretty good week. O.Z. Tyler, Bourbon Trail, and obviously very emotional time for a lot of folks with the Nikki Hayden tribute. While I was thanking all the people that did all the stuff, I omitted, as I always do, Leslie Neely helped me a bunch with the, she talked, I don't know how she did it, she talked Jamie over at Studio 105 to do that framing in about 2 hours, so, or it would not have been framed. The convention center did a good job, Laura and her people, to try and protect the integrity so that it wouldn't be exposed too soon, and I appreciate that. And obviously, you know, after a while, you just kind of take this guy for granted because all this stuff comes off pretty easily. And Tim Ross, thank you. You were you were a big help when we met with the Haydens, and they all had great things to say about you. So I do appreciate your effort there. It was, I think it turned out pretty well. And then the last thing is, I don't know how many of y'all did the Porch Fest. Barbara and I, we did the Porch Fest where they had the music on Griffith Avenue and the porches, and I got credit all up and down that street for that Porch Fest. I didn't have anything to do with it. But Barbara said, y'all take credit for it because you get blamed for all other stuff that didn't happen. So, but it was excellent. The citizens were wonderful. We had a police officer there to kind of keep things going. I don't know what happened after dark, but it was well attended. A lot of little children out in strollers and stuff, and had 9 adults and riding big wheels down the center of Griffith Avenue. That was kind of unique. So, but that was a great thing, and I commend the folks that put that together because, you know, that's what makes us special. You know, people go out and it did not cost the taxpayers any money, and they go out and put together a nice event like that, and I would assume that it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So that's all I have. Thank you all very much for tonight. We appreciate you, and staff for being here. And Beth, didn't Beth do a nice job reading ordinances tonight? So pleasant voice. I mean, it was excellent.
Go to law school.
She needs to go to law school. So anyway, I'll make a motion to adjourn unless everybody wants to stay here for the night. Oh. Do I have to do public comment? Okay. Public comment. There you go. Anybody would like, oh, do I need to read that? Yeah. This time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium and be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required by city staff or the commission. And the mayor reserves the right to extend the time of the speaker. The head of UniFirst doesn't want to make a statement? Good. I want to know where the handcuffs are is what I want to know.
Lost that key you gave me.
No, did you? Oh, boy, it's bad.
I'm Dave Roberts, 414 Griffith Avenue. And Mayor, I live right there at the Porch Fest, so it was nice to see all those folks in the neighborhood. So on behalf of UniFirst, I want to just thank the community for helping us you know, celebrate these 20 years in the community. And we were able to really celebrate it in fashion with you know, reinvestment into this community. We have a number of choices, a number of options we could have made in terms of expanding our distribution and order fulfillment operation. And as we wade through those options, you know, the signs really pointed to doing it here. And I think it's a testament to, you know, the citizens of our community, the workforce, and the leadership, you know, here in the community. It's the reason that we came here 20 years ago, and I think it's the reason we'll be here for as far as we can see. So thank you, Commission. If you have any questions for me in regards to what we've done, I will give you just a little update on that front. We actually have already surpassed that initial 25 jobs to add. We're actually over 30 jobs now and still counting. So we're still bringing folks on, and we haven't fully completed the project. We're still working on some software and some things like that. So looking forward to bigger things to come.
Well, that event was great, and to have all those folks from the Northeast to understand what it's like to be in Kentucky, it was pretty cool. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Owensboro boy, by the way, right here, Owensboro boy. Okay.
He was playing golf on that course when he wasn't supposed to be.
Okay, have I done everything I'm supposed to do now? Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none? We're adjourned.